This video was compiled using information which was made public via news or government agencies and is intended to honor the lives of those who met an unimaginable fate and also bring awareness to the unjust behaviors in our communities. 6-year-old Damari Perry was reported missing in North Chicago by his mother, 38-year-old Jannie Perry, on January 5, 2022, just before 5 p.m. This prompted the FBI to be brought in, who then put out an alert regarding his disappearance. Authorities were told that the child was last seen in Skokie with his 16-year-old sister at her friend's home on Tuesday, January 4th, around 3 p.m.
She had like a cocktail, and I'm guessing someone put something in her cocktail. She ended up falling asleep. When she woke up, my son was gone.
Family initially told police that the boy and his sister were driven to a party by a black woman who was only known as Monique and a black man who was known as Wacko or Chaos the previous night. Perry's sister reported that she had several drinks at the party and fell asleep, but when she awoke, the child and the man were no longer at the residence. Jannie told law enforcement that she had no idea where the friend's house was located in Skokie. The sister then said she was driven back to her North Chicago home by Monique without her brother. She described the apartment building where the party took place as possibly being a 3-story yellow building with an exposed stairway. Using this information, North Chicago Police Department and the FBI began piecing together the boy's last known whereabouts. Skokie police also assisted because of the family's statements. After evidence disputed the family's story, detectives turned their focus to the boy's home in North Chicago. Unfortunately, Damari Perry was found dead on January 7th, 2022 in an alley in the 700 block of Van Buren Street near an abandoned home. On Sunday, January 9th, 2022, less than 48 hours after the boy's body was found, his mother, 38-year-old Jannie Perry, was charged with first-degree murder and concealment of a homicidal death and obstructing justice. Damari Perry's older brother, Jannie Perry, age 20, was charged with aggravated battery, causing great bodily harm to a child under 12, concealment of a homicidal death, and obstructing justice. A second juvenile sibling was also arrested for charges relating to the concealment of the 6-year-old's body. Jeremiah's bail was set at $3 million. After claiming to feel ill, Jannie Perry was taken to the hospital, and soon after she was discharged, she was taken to bond court, where her bail was set at $5 million.
Precious kid, whose 6 short years on Earth proved to be painful. As police issued a missing persons alert for Damari Perry last week, the investigation uncovers the boy's body was already discarded like trash in the snow-covered field in Gary. The FBI would find Damari's body wrapped in a plastic trash bag. Those who dumped the child tried hiding his murder.
At a court hearing, prosecutors alleged that Jannie Perry told relatives that on December 29, 2021, Damari Perry did something to upset the family. The following day, what was his 6th birthday, family members, including his mother, put him in a cold shower for an unspecified amount of time as punishment. During that time, Damari regurgitated, passed out, and was then removed from the shower. He eventually succumbed to the cruel treatment without relatives calling for any medical attention. They later took his body to the 700 block of Van Buren Street in Gary, Indiana, and left him there. The Lake County Coroner's Office in Northwest Indiana conducted the postmortem examination on Damari Perry and found scattered ecchymosis on the right leg, extremely cold core temperature, and partially frozen internal organs. Dr. Zhu Wang added that there was postmortem thermal injury or charring on the child's body. The coroner's office said the boy's body was found naked and wrapped in a plastic trash bag, and that his body was partially charred after his death. Based on the findings, the cause of death was ruled as hypothermia, and the manner of death was determined to be homicide. A DCF spokesperson revealed that beginning in 2014, there were records of allegations of domestic violence between the parents, which the agency investigated and found to be true. DCFS then took custody of the 4 children who were in the home at the time of the investigation. Boone County court records showed that in June 2014, Jannie Perry argued unsuccessfully for an order of protection against Damari Perry's father, Delvin Driver, after accusing him of choking her on 3 separate occasions, several years apart. Jannie Perry also gave birth to her 5th child in 2014, who was taken into protective custody soon after. She was arrested later that same year in October on misdemeanor counts of resisting and obstructing an officer after police were called to a fight in the back of a taxicab. Perry eventually pleaded guilty to those charges according to court records. A year and 2 months later, on December 30, 2015, she gave birth to Damari, who was also taken into DCF custody and placed in foster care. Boone County court records also showed that sometime in 2015, DCF filed to obtain child support from Jannie Perry for 2 of her children who were in foster care at the time. The court ultimately dismissed the agency's petition. 2017 did not end without Jannie giving birth to her 7th child, who was also taken into custody. That same year, the court ordered all the children to be returned to Perry's home. DCF did not have any further contact with the family until May 2021, when an allegation of abuse and neglect was filed. The claims were investigated, determined to be unfounded, and subsequently closed. On February 2nd, just 1 day after Damari's funeral, a Lake County jury indicted the mother and son duo on more than a dozen charges each. They were jointly indicted on 8 counts of murder, including first-degree murder, aggravated battery of a child, dismembering a human body, conspiracy, aggravated domestic battery, concealment of a homicidal death, endangering the life or health of a child, abuse of a corpse, and obstructing justice. Jannie was also indicted on 1 count of failure to report the death or disappearance of a child under 13 years of age. The grand jury found evidence that Damari's death was exceptionally brutal and heinous, thus allowing prosecutors to seek life sentences. During a virtual court hearing 5 days later, Jeremiah Perry, who was facing a 17-count indictment, pleaded not guilty and indicated that he wanted to represent himself in court. His attorney, Renee Amin, said she planned to speak with Perry more regarding the matter, and a ruling was to be made at a later court hearing. Jannie appeared before Judge George Strickland on February 17, 2022, where she pled not guilty to 19 charges. She likely would have been arraigned on the charges against her sooner, but proceedings were delayed by her recent health issues revealed to pertain to dialysis. The third person, another of Jannie's sons, was charged with concealing a body, and his case is being handled in Lake County Juvenile Court. Due to his age, no other information, including his name, has been shared publicly. I hope that the family and friends of Damari Perry are able to find solace in the happy memories, and may his soul rest in perpetual peace. Thank you.